Hey everyone, it's me again, and I'm here today to do my, what video am I even filming? My December/Christmas book haul. I didn't get a ton of books for Christmas because people in my life, I don't get a lot of gifts in general, but people tend not to buy me books. I got a bunch of Funko Pops though. Anyway, so I am just going to show you mostly the stuff I bought for myself in December with a few gifts thrown in. Three little things. Three little poetry pamphlets. One is called A Small Woman by Cecilia Pinto. Girlhood and Machines by Marie Leia. And then The Winter Palace by Nina Puro. And they're really pretty, and they are published by Dancing Girl Press and Studio, which is a little tiny publishing press that publishes poetry pamphlets and also does like paper products, so stationery and notepads and things. I ordered these back before Halloween, so like mid-October, and did not get them until mid-December, which was disappointing because I just didn't hear anything from them. I thought that it had just gotten lost in the mail. It was weird, but I did get them, so that was sort of a nice surprise. And I haven't read them yet, so I can't speak to the actual quality of the poetry inside of them yet. Look for that in my January wrap-up, but I was a tad bit disappointed after waiting for 2 months to get them that I like the covers and the paper quality is fine, but the way these are put together is not spectacular. I mean, you can see like there's this staple here that's almost dangerous. It's poorly done, and it's like two on top of each other. I mean, it's just someone making my hand, and I understand that, but it just seems to me I wouldn't have mailed this one out with the staple being like that in a sort of dangerous cut yourself way, and the actual printing quality is bad. You're not gonna be able to see it on this, but it looks like a cheap $30 printer that's running out of ink. So that was a little bit disappointing, but we'll see if I like the actual poetry inside. That will make me or help me overlook those things. Next, I got my Book of the Month Club subscription book, and I chose this month Sarah Vowell's newest book, Lafayette in the Somewhat United States. I'm super excited. This is just Sarah Vowell writing about particular moments in history, and I have seen Sarah Vowell described as someone who does for history what Mary Roach does for science, and I think that's very true. And you guys know I like Sarah Vowell. She wrote one of my favorite books last year, so this was a no-brainer. And if you want to know more about Book of the Month Club, I will leave a link in the description box. Next, a book that I'm reading with my book club in January, and that is A Fair Fight by Vienna Freeman. This went around BookTube quite a bit in 2015, and my little group of ladies is finally getting around to it. This takes place around the turn of the 19th century, late 1700s, early 1800s, follows three perspectives, and one of the main characters, Ruth, is involved in a like female boxing operation. It's not just women, but she is a female boxer, and just kind of the relationship she has with, I guess, the other two perspectives. I'm just getting started. I'm only about 80 pages in, but I am looking forward to continuing on. For Christmas, like I said, I didn't get a lot of books, but the Hubs did get me a comic, so that was nice. Even though I had read most of it, I didn't finish it because I got pissed off that it was only a mini-series and they weren't going to be writing more. So I'm happy to have the Princess Leia trade. This is, again, it's only like 6 issues. It's written by Mark Waid, who's one of my favorite writers, and illustrated by the Dodsons, who are a married couple. And it's just a little mini-series. Exciting action adventure with Leia in the lead, and I'm a big Star Wars nerd, so this was a great gift. And I'm happy to throw it up on the shelves and look at it and get angry at the comics industry for not making this ongoing. I talked about this in my first December wrap-up, I'm pretty sure. I don't know that I've hauled it yet, though. I got Herro County, the first volume, Countless Haints by Cullen Bunn and Tyler Crook. I've heard so much about this year. Some of the people I trust most in sort of the comics journalist world, the podcasts and stuff I listen to. This was on their favorites of the year lists. And it's a Southern Gothic, like, fairy tale. It's horror, and it drawn beautifully in, like, watercolor, and it's just a lot of fun and gruesome and violent, crazy, and I enjoyed all of it immensely, and I recommend it to you. It is about a girl who is a witch, a reincarnated witch. So, deep, dark, scary woods. I'm in a mood. Giant Days by John Allison. Written by John Allison, illustrated by Lisa Treyman, colors by Whitney Koger, letters by Jim Campbell. So, this series started out as a mini. It was only going to be like 8 issues, and then it got moved up to 12 issues, and now it's an ongoing because it just took, I think, the comics world by storm. So many people loved this, and it was kind of a surprise hit. It is about 3 girls at university in England. They are just going through the life stuff that happens when you are, it's a plane. I live near an airport. So just the life stuff that you go through the first year of university, and the female friendship is a big thing for me. I love it. It's very funny. The characters are great. It also doesn't shy away from showing college, that life the way that it really is, dealing with sex and drugs and just illness and grades and all of the things that you go through. Just a really fun slice of life book with a great, fantastic, colorful, fun art. It's like a really grown-up Lumberjanes. Not fantastical, very grounded in, like, realistic stuff. But the artist, Lisa Treyman, is a Disney artist, if that gives you any idea of kind of the tone, the funness. Another comic and another writer that I adore. It's Scott Snyder's Witches, drawn by Jock, and colors by Matt Hollingsworth. His name is Matt, right? Yes. This book is a horror comic. Scott Snyder is just one of the best people on the planet. I love him so dearly. I thought about making a video dedicated solely to him and just what I like about him personally and as a writer. But this is a horror comic, which he does so well. He's also the current writer of Batman, which is a really good horror comic as well. And it's ostensibly about a family haunted by these crazy witch monsters that live in the woods. But it's actually about a father-daughter relationship and kind of the father feeling like he's failed not only himself, but his kid. And just the doubt and the fear that parents have a lot of the time and the ways that can affect familial relationships. And it's beautiful. And Scott Snyder is someone, like, in the back matter, and there's some of the essays in here, he writes a lot about the inspiration being his own fear of failure as a parent and the things that he worries about and the anxiety he has. And he also suffers from depression, and he gets very honest about that. So I love it. The art is beautiful and creepy. I will say that a lot of people do tend to have an issue with kind of the splattery overlay. They get annoyed or they say it distracts them. I think it added a really nice atmosphere and it made it really pretty. So I don't have that problem. But it's just such a good book. And the second arc is set to start this year, and I can't wait. And then I participated in a little Secret Santa among some booktubers, and the lovely Elizabeth from Books and Pieces sent me Nights at the Circus by Angela Carter. I don't know what this is about, to be honest, but it's Angela Carter, I know I'm going to like Angela Carter. I have never read anything by Angela Carter. This is the beautiful Vintage Classics Red Spine edition, and it will be read soon. I placed an order recently and got myself some stuff with some Christmas money. One of those things is the book I'm using for my Project Annotate book, and that is Yuri Herrera's Signs Preceding the End of the World. It's translated from Spanish by Lisa Dillman. This has been compared to Cormac McCarthy many times. It is about, I think, a woman, a Mexican woman who is trying to cross the border into the U.S. to find her brother. I am thoroughly looking forward to this. I've heard great things. I've seen it on some best of lists this year, and it's a nice short little book to annotate and send along and get everyone in my group to annotate and read as well. I think it's going to be great, and I really do love the black and white desert cover. And then a short story collection I bought because that's who I am. It's one I've wanted forever. It's Nalo Hopkinson's Falling in Love with Hominids, which it is a stunning cover. Nalo Hopkinson was born in Kingston, Jamaica. She grew up in the U.S., Trinidad, and Guyana, and then her family moved to Toronto when she was 16, and I think now she is a professor at UC Riverside. So she's a woman of the world, and it says that she has an imagination that most of us would kill for. Ticks a box. Her Afro-Caribbean, Canadian, and American influences shine in truly unique stories that are filled with striking imagery, unlikely beauty, and delightful strangeness. Lots of boxes ticked. In this long-awaited collection, Hopkinson continues to expand the boundaries of culture and imagination, whether she is retelling The Tempest, box ticked, as a new Caribbean myth, filling a shopping mall with unfulfilled ghosts, or herding chickens that occasionally breathe fire, dragon chickens. Hopkinson continues to create bold fiction that transcends boundaries and borders. Yes, please. A couple graphic novel I got in my last Landfall Freight box. The one before last. I don't remember. It is Never Good Night by Coco Moodison. And it is now an internationally acclaimed motion picture called We Are the Best. Never heard of it. I'd never heard of this. It is about, let's see. Coco, Claire, and Matilda have known each other since primary school, where they met in folk dancing class. Now they are almost teenagers, and their anarchist ideals and dreams of forming a world-beating punk band set them apart from the other girls at school. They can't play any instruments, practice with pillows and pans, and keep getting told that punk is dead. But they're not going to let any of these things get in their way. I have read this, and it is about these three weird little girls who really, they just want to be in a punk band, and that's kind of the philosophy they live by. They're like 12. It's not beautiful. Like, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, if you want it to be a beautiful comic, drawing-wise, it's almost ugly in a sense. You know what I mean? It's very punk rock in that way. I think it's done very much on purpose. It's weird, first. I mean, just some of the things that these 12-year-old girls get up to made me a little bit uncomfortable. But beyond that, I actually ended up really enjoying it because it's about female friendship conquering all. And it's not like super sweet or saccharine or anything like that. It's punk rock, man. And then in a Landfall Freight box, I got to The Sleeper and the Spindle by Neil Gaiman, illustrated by Chris Riddell. And this is a retelling mashup of Snow White and Sleeping Beauty. And I loved it. First off, it's beautiful. Beautiful. Just own it as an object because it's gorgeous. The illustrations inside by Chris Riddell. Perfect. The story is great. It was a mashup which really led to some unexpected places. It's only like 60 pages. A great way to spend specifically something like a readathon. Perfect. And then finally, two last books that I also bought myself. The first is a collection of short stories, and that is The Czar of Love and Techno by Anthony Mara. I own a Constellation of Vital Phenomena. I do not know why I haven't read it, and now I own this. So I need to read Anthony Mara. This will be the year of reading Anthony Mara. So this is a short story collection, and I've heard fantastic things. The Book Olive just did a great review of this. If you want to go to her channel, check it out. And finally, the last book I got, which I had been planning to get for ages, is Gold Fame Citrus by Claire Vaye Watkins. But it's basically set in kind of the southwest United States in the desert, where after the world's kind of, or this area in particular has just been destroyed by drought. And there's no water, and so it's kind of dystopian in that sense. It has like kind of a Mad Max vibe to it, and it's just about this woman and this man and this child and the journey they go through in this world and the people they meet along the way. And I'm not going to say more than that because I think books like this are better read on your own. It has a very coarse writing style. Claire Vaye Watkins does not intend to make you feel comfortable, and that was an interesting thing to read. So I will talk more about this in my December wrap-up part 2. So those are all the books I got in December. It was a lot. I'm not even excited for all of them, and I have read some of them even. So I've talked enough. Bye, guys.